Hey guys, Nick Tunbridge here, Stutter Coach. Welcome to my third video, which is building your Fluency Tool Kit. Video number 3, I did a little introduction video, and then I did a second video which was on choosing your speech treatment program and how to choose a speech therapist. And now this is building your Fluency Tool Kit. So what's important to me, and the reason why I'm running these series of videos, is that as a stutterer, as someone who stutters, I always found it really valuable when I got strategies that I thought were common sense strategies and practical that I could take and I could apply in my life. I didn't really want to get motivational stuff. I really didn't want to get a whole lot of wacky theories. I just needed really good advice that I felt I could incorporate in my daily life. And over my many, many years as a person who stutters and the author of the 2 books, the Stutterer's Survival Guides 1 and 2, available on Amazon if you want to check them out, I believe that I've got a lot of practical advice that I believe that you can incorporate in your life and that I believe will give you good outcome. So building the Fluency Toolkit is such advice, and I'm going to take you through what's in my toolkit and why, and fully appreciate and respect that you may have a very different toolkit to mine, but I figured if I gave you an outline of what I've got, maybe that'll help you to choose your tools for your toolkit. So here we go. Now, the most important tool and the number one thing is your speech technique, whatever that is. For me, it's fluency shaping. So where you've gone to speak to therapists and get advice as to the technique that you use, you go and develop that technique, and that is your prime tool. So that is what you're going to use every single day, and that is what you're going to have to be the master of. So, you know, when it comes to your technique, you've got to almost think like an elite athlete. Every day you've got to practice it, and you've got to hone it, and you've got to own it and be the master of it. If you don't use it, there's no point having it. So that's your prime tool, your speech technique. And then beyond that, there's a number of things that I do that support my ability to use that technique. The next thing is my confidence level. So with confidence is just not something that's going to happen overnight. When you stutter, stuttering attacks your confidence. So you need to have a plan to build confidence. So what I do is, and I'll give you a sort of an example. If I was going to a party, there's a lot of introductions and I had my wife with me, I had to introduce my wife, say, or I was going to a work situation where I had to speak. The first thing, other than having the freak out, panic moment, is, and we'll talk about that later, is to start to think about the self-talk that you give yourself, so that rather than think, get riddled with fear and anxiety and panic and not want to go to the event, try to get out of it, what I would do is think, okay, well, first of all, it's not a crime to stutter. Okay, it's just what I have. There's a lot of us in the world, and I have the right to go to this, and I have the right to enjoy myself. And those fluent speakers, I mean, how would they be if they stuttered? Would they be managing it as well as I am? Maybe they would, maybe they wouldn't. So I start to think about, well, it's okay. It's okay to go, and it's okay if I'm feeling really nervous about it. I will speak more slowly. I will use more technique. I will give myself permission to use my technique in the way that gives me the best outcome for me, and not be so worried about what they may think. And having the confidence and just think, okay, just because they speak fluently doesn't mean that they've got their own issues. They may have social anxiety. They may have all sorts of stuff going on in their head that I'm not aware of. And sort of replacing that self-talk is a really important tool for me, and it's been really valuable for me. The next thing is to become self-aware And so the next tool, if you like, is your self-awareness tool. And what I mean by that is that when you get that immediate rush of anxiety, so if you're in school and you've got to deliver a presentation, or at work presentation, you get chosen to stand up in front of people, the first moments that you get are typically extreme panic. You get very anxious, and I used to get almost a flight response where I just had to get out of the room as fast as I could. Those were the bad days. But today, what I do as my tool is to think, separate myself from the thoughts. And that's what I mean by being self-aware. So I let those anxiety moments go past. I just let them flow. Just don't worry about them, and realize that they're just a response and they're not who I am. And they're in no way predictors of the outcome. And once you start to realize that it's just your body responding to a stimuli that you've got previous negative experience around, you start to create a bit of distance and you start to think differently about those thoughts. So developing self-awareness on who you are and the thought processes that you have is, again, a really important tool. Next is life experiences. The older you get, the more life experience that you have, and you realise that, yeah, you've had lots and lots of experiences where you've gone and you've stuttered. And you've lived, you've got through it, and yeah, sure, you may have had a couple of negative responses, but I bet that you've had a lot of positive too. And as you start to get life experience, and you will meet people who you think are fantastic speakers. They're really, really great speakers. And you just sit there and you think, wow, I would love to be able to speak like them, and I hate the fact that I can't. And then you find out they've got their own problems, that they're envious of you of certain things. So life's not simple. It's not black and white. There's all shades of stuff that goes on. And the older you get, the more understanding and more knowledgeable about that you become. Next thing is what I call claiming your space as a person who stutters. And it goes back to a little bit about what I was saying with the self-awareness. You can do whatever you like to be comfortable as a person who wants to speak fluently within reason. It's okay. It's okay to slow down. It's okay to give yourself permission to use your technique. It's okay to do whatever you can do, providing you're not hurting anybody, to become a more fluent speaker and to have a better time. And one of the things that used to really infuriate me was when I was speaking and I was having trouble, and then someone would finish my sentence. And it happens all the time, and you understand why it can happen, because people want to help you. And that's all that they're doing. They just want to help you. But what I used to do is I wanted to send a message to say, don't do that. I don't want you to do that. So what I would do is I would just continue on, and I would finish my sentence. If it took me longer, it took me longer. And even if that person had given the right answer, I wanted to send a message to them and to anyone else who was listening. No, I'm speaking and I'm going to finish my sentence. And I would always do that in a friendly way, would always be with a smile. It's very important that you do it in a friendly way. But that's what I mean about claiming your space as a tool. You have the right to speak. You have the right to say what you want to say. And if you're stuttering and you're having a lot of disfluency, it doesn't remove that right. Next tool is speech therapists. Call them up if you're having trouble. If you're slipping with your technique or you're having some difficulties, ring them up. Spend 10 minutes on the phone with someone who is a trained speech pathologist who can actually give you some good feedback about your specific technique and your use of it. Really valuable. And the final one is your speech buddies. These are other people who stutter in your network who you can call and say, I've got a situation coming up at work. I am freaking out. I need help. I want to role play it with you. I want you to talk through with me some strategies. These people are absolutely invaluable to you, and you must access them. Okay guys, that's your Fluency Toolkit. All of this is in detail in Stutter Survival Guide Volume 2 if you want to check it out. Tutorial number 4 is about, do we as people who stutter disclose? Do we tell people that we stutter? Is that a tool that we need to use? Is that something we need to think about? Well, stay tuned. That's video number 4. Now, I'm not getting many views. I'm not really that good with YouTube. If you do happen to find me, please send me on to other people. I'm here to help people as much as I possibly can. So any feedback, anyone subscribing, any commentary is really valuable for me and help gets the message around. Okay, looking forward to talking to you soon in tutorial number 4, disclosure. See ya.